Buddy the dog and Whiskers the cat padded into the living room, their paws making soft sounds on the wooden floor. They were an unlikely pair, but their bond was undeniable. Sunbeams streamed through the window, and dust motes danced in the light, creating a magical atmosphere that made the room feel warm and inviting. It seemed like a perfect morning for a nap, with the gentle hum of the refrigerator and the distant chirping of birds outside adding to the tranquility. Or at least, that's what Whiskers thought as she curled up on the rug, her fur blending seamlessly with the soft fabric. She closed her eyes, ready to drift into a peaceful slumber. Buddy, however, was ready for an adventure. His energy was boundless, and he couldn't understand why anyone would want to sleep on such a beautiful day. His tail thumped against the floor, his eyes bright with mischief. He had a sparkle in his eye that suggested he was up to something.
Come on, Whiskers, let's play, Buddy seemed to say with every wag of his tail, his excitement palpable.
Whiskers just yawned, showing off her pink tongue, clearly uninterested in Buddy's invitation. She stretched lazily, her claws extending briefly before retracting. Undeterred, Buddy trotted off to find something interesting. He was determined to make the most of the day, even if it meant exploring on his own. He sniffed at the couch, nosed at the curtains, and even peeked behind the furniture, his curiosity leading him from one corner of the room to the next. Suddenly, a low growl filled the room. Buddy froze, his ears perking up as he tried to locate the source of the sound. What could it be? The growl quickly escalated into a roar. Buddy whipped around, his tail tucked between his legs. The source of the commotion? Their owner had just turned on the vacuum cleaner. It lumbered across the floor, a mechanical monster in Buddy's eyes.
Bad vacuum.
Buddy whimpered, backing away slowly. He barked once, a sharp, warning bark. The vacuum cleaner, of course, ignored him.
Bad vacuum.
Buddy barked again, louder this time. He took a tentative step forward, then another. He had to protect his home from this noisy intruder. While Buddy was facing down the vacuum cleaner, Whiskers had discovered something equally fascinating. The vacuum cleaner roared, but Buddy stood his ground, barking furiously. Meanwhile, Whiskers was drawn to a different kind of mystery. She sat perched on the back of the couch, her tail twitching, eyes fixated on the mirror across the room. The mirror seemed to hold a secret, a hidden world that only she could see. She saw a cat staring back at her, sleek, green-eyed, and utterly unfamiliar. This cat mirrored her every move, yet Whiskers felt an odd sense of curiosity and unease.
Hiss.
Whiskers hissed, a low rumble in her chest. Her fur bristled, and her back arched defensively. She was ready for a confrontation. The cat in the mirror hissed back, matching her intensity. It was as if the reflection was challenging her, refusing to back down. Intrigued, Whiskers raised a paw, batting at the strange feline. Her paw met the cold, hard surface of the mirror, but the other cat did the same, mimicking her actions perfectly. The other cat did the same. Every movement Whiskers made was mirrored exactly, creating a bizarre dance between the two. Whiskers had never met this cat before, but it seemed determined to copy her every move. She tilted her head, and the reflection did too. She swished her tail, and the other cat followed suit. It was a puzzling encounter, one that left Whiskers both fascinated and bewildered. Buddy, meanwhile, had forgotten all about the vacuum cleaner. The loud, roaring machine that once seemed like a monster to him was now just background noise. He had discovered a treasure, a forgotten squeaky toy nestled under the coffee table. It was dusty and old, but to Buddy, it was a newfound gem. He pounced on it with glee, his tail wagging furiously. The excitement in his eyes was unmistakable. The toy let out a loud squeak as Buddy sunk his teeth into it. The sound echoed through the room, filling it with a playful energy. He shook his head back and forth, the toy flopping wildly in his mouth. The squeaking reached a fever pitch, each sound more delightful than the last.
Squeak. The toy seemed to scream in joy.
Buddy tossed the toy into the air, his eyes following its arc with anticipation. He caught it with a joyful bark, his mouth closing around it with precision. He pranced around the room, his paws tapping a happy rhythm on the floor. Squeaking the toy with abandon, he was lost in his own world of fun. He had forgotten all about the terrifying vacuum cleaner, the dust motes, and even his nap. Nothing else mattered but the joy of the squeak. This squeaky toy was pure joy. It was his world, his happiness, and his escape from everything else.